Are you down to leave the streets with me? Or could you be blinded by all the sights?
Yo, what's up everyone, this is Hiei and I'm back with a new tutorial on how to get vocal quality like Blxst in this song, Overrated. This time we're doing this tutorial with Waves plugins because a lot of you guys have been requesting it, so I went ahead and brought it to everyone. If you want to go ahead and get the entire vocal preset, just go to BlueNovaBeats.com, go to the store, click on the vocal presets tab, and you can get the entire vocal preset right there. So let's go ahead and jump into it. The first thing I'm going to do is turn off what we have here on the master, and pretty much everything's already set off. The next thing I'm going to do is let everybody hear how the raw vocal sounds like without any processing and any effects on it. So with the lead vocal right here, I have auto-tune set on it, and I have the key set on A flat major. The retune speed, I kept it around 10. You can reduce it just depending on how well you're hitting the notes on your recordings. So this is what it sounds like.
Are you down to leave the streets with me? Or could you be blinded by all the sights you see? I'm willing to give you all this love I got.
So after that, we're going to work on the actual processing of the vocals. So the first thing I have is Studio Rack, and I'm going to turn off all these other effects right here. And the first plugin we're going to work with is called C1 Comp-Gate, which is essentially just a compressor and a gate for your vocals. So what I'm doing is just compressing it, so we're getting a fairly balanced sound before we get into other processing in the vocals. So this is what it sounds like.
Are you down to leave the streets with me? Or could you be blinded by all the sights you see? I'm willing to give you all this love I got.
After that, we're moving into another compressor, and we're using the RVox for this. RVox is something I like to use a lot for a lot of vocal recordings. So what I'm doing right here is just making sure the vocal is just pretty consistent and full in sound. That's what the RVox is good for. So I'm just pressing down the compressor to where it's hitting to around -28.9. And that's not a work for all method. You're going to have to push it down to where it's just very decent and evenly compressing your vocals. Aside from that, on the gain, I have it set at around -16 just to leave some headroom in the mix. So this is what it sounds like.
Are you down to leave the streets with me? Or could you be blinded by all the sights you see? I'm willing to give you all this love I got.
After that, we're moving to a REQ6. And what we're doing is just taking out the low frequencies in the vocals and boosting around the 8,000 region. We're boosting around 9 decibels. And what I'm doing is just boosting a good amount so that we're getting the clarity out of it. Later on, we're going to soften up the vocals with the other effects on it. But this is what it sounds like with the REQ6.
Are you down to leave the streets with me? Or could you be blinded by all the sights you see? I'm willing to give you all this love I got.
All right, now after that, we're going to move into another EQ. We're using the F6 RTA by Waves. And what I'm doing is using a dynamic EQ. And essentially what that is, for you guys who don't understand what it is, we're going to focus on certain regions in the vocals that we don't like. And it's going to push down those frequencies that are forcing out a little bit too much. So that's what I'm doing in the first band, second, and third band. So you can see right here, I'm doing the setting to around 203. I found another one at 329 and also at 553. And I'm working with the threshold and the range settings so that it's pushing down to where those frequencies are popping out a lot. So this is what it's going to sound like. And aside from that, I'm also boosting a little bit right here in the 8K region. So what I'm doing is just boosting that frequency to get a little bit more clarity.
Are you down to leave the streets with me? Or could you be blinded by all the sights you see? I'm willing to give you all this love I got.
After that, we're moving into a limiter, and what I'm doing is just putting the limiter on it just to make sure the vocals are consistent after doing all that EQing on it. So I'm putting the ceiling down to -7. My release is set at 0.1, and the threshold just getting pushed down to -20, as you can see.
Are you down to leave the streets with me? Or could you be blinded by all the sights you see? I'm willing to give you all this love I got.
After that, we're using a C4. Now with the C4, it's a multi-band compressor, and what we're doing is just compressing around the 11K region to take care of the high-end presence and just to get a better match to Blxst vocals while playing the song. So I just push that down to around negative 38.3.
Are you down to bleed the streets with me? Or could you be blinded by all the sights you see? I'm willing to give you all this love I got.
Next, we're using a de-esser. And what the de-esser is doing, just taking care of that sibilance in it. This is also going to soften up the vocals and the high-end frequencies. So this is what it sounds like.
Are you down to bleed the streets with me? Or could you be blinded by all the sights you see? I'm willing to give you all this love I got.
All right, cool. So that's pretty much it for the main processing of the vocals. The next thing we're going to do is work with the reverbs and delays. So let's move to the second studio rack. And with it, we have the H delay. That's the first thing I have. And these are the settings I have for it. His delay is coming back pretty quick. So I went ahead and estimated it to around 1/4. And you can essentially just freeze the screen and copy these settings, or like I said, just get the entire preset on the site.
Are you down to bleed the streets with me? Or could you be blinded by all the sights you see? I'm willing to give you all this love I got.
So right here on the dry wet level, I have it set to around 17, or pretty much around 17 or 15 is good. You don't want to overdo it because you don't want your delay to clash too much with your lead vocal. So kind of have it as something in the background. And with the reverb, all we're doing is just adding some reverb. There's a thick depth sounding reverb in his vocals. That's something that I noticed. So I went ahead and EQ'd and really just boosted the low end. I typically do not boost, the low end of a reverb frequency. I kind of just roll it off at the end, but just to match it with the original song, this is something I found kind of helpful. With the wet dry level, I have it very minimal. You barely even kind of can tell that the reverb is there, but we're just setting that around to 2.9, and the time we have it cut around 2.4, and hearing how it sounds like. And let's actually turn off the delay so everyone can hear what it sounds like with reverb.
Are you down to bleed the streets with me? Or could you be blinded by all the sights you see? I'm willing to give you all this love I got. But no relationships involved. I just need your loyalty, that's all.
And that's pretty much it. So aside from that, we're gonna play with instrumental. With the master channel, we have another studio rack on top of it, and all it's doing just acting as a brick wall EQ. This isn't even necessary to really have. If you have any type of EQ that cuts the frequency of the mix at 16K, go ahead and add that. I added the LN EQ broadband, and what it's doing is cutting it at 16K as a brick wall. And the very last thing is having the maximizer, the ultra maximizer on here. And you can use, I prefer probably using like a soft clipper or something a little bit better or different. I just went ahead and threw this on here just to make sure the entire mix didn't go past 0 decibels. So listen to the final mix. This is what it sounds like.
Are you down to bleed the streets with me? Or could you be blinded by all the sights you see? I'm willing to give you all this love I got. But no relationships involved. I just need your loyalty, that's all. Don't need.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what I did in order to replicate the quality of Blxst vocals in the song Overrated. If you guys like this video, go ahead and put a thumbs up. Put in the comment section what you all want to see next, and if you have any requests, go ahead and put that there too. If you need a song mixed and mastered, go to the contact form on the very bottom of the site and send me a message there. And yeah, if you need any beats, make sure to also check out the HyperBIT Beats that I've been posting on my site as well. And the link will also be in the description, but I'll catch everybody on the next video.
Are you down to bleed the streets with me? Or could you be blinded by all the sights you see? I'm willing to give you all this love I got.